The Pixel 9 Pro XL is probably one of the only devices in 2024 that is truly an upgrade from its previous version in many of the important aspects. First, I want to talk about the build quality, which is outstanding on this. I love the way this device feels in the hand. I love the metal frame that's around it, how the camera punches out now, that unique pixel look that we're now very used to coming from the 6 all the way to the 9 here. It feels really good in the hand overall. It feels very similar to, I would say, an iPhone 12 Pro Max if I wanted to compare it to something. It feels really good like that. And also with the haptic feedbacks, which I really like how Pixel has improved their haptic feedbacks from device to device to device. It feels better than what Samsung has. And Samsung used to have really good haptic feedbacks and they're okay, but what they have here in the Pixel is what I would really like and what I enjoy a lot, especially when I'm just typing on the phone. Combined with that premium feel, it just makes it a joy to kind of use the phone. It feels really good in the hand is what I'm saying here. And that's, I think, one of the most important things. The next important thing in terms of its upgrade, which I actually think is single-handedly the biggest upgrade, is the fingerprint sensor. We finally have an fingerprint sensor that is like what you see on the S23 Ultra. This is a fast, fluid, and smooth fingerprint sensor. This is the best upgrade. I'm telling you right now, if you have a 6, 7, or 8, this is something to consider upgrading for because it will really change your experience. Now we're sticking to the display. It looks beautiful. I really like it. It's 120 Hertz, looks very nice, looks fast, fluid, what you expect with it. Watched content on here on YouTube on the display and it's been fine with that. Looking at pictures, overall, I have no complaints about the display. Now, I'm not going to spend too much time on the camera because it's a good camera and we pretty much know that coming from a Pixel device. I wanted to make sure to use it not as a content creator because that's a different use case, but for regular folks out there that just want to capture in the moment, the photos do its justice. It's a really good camera. Now on the video side, this is where we see a lot of the improvements. The video has improved greatly in terms of its image quality and also the audio quality as well. So take a listen and look at it. This is just me walking with the Pixel 9 Pro XL, the front-facing camera. We're recording at 4K. Audio quality should be pretty good. I know you might be seeing that I have earbuds on, but I'm making sure right now the phone microphone is what we're sort of using. No, just doing a casual walk here. Not doing anything super duper fancy. It's a real nice day, so things should look pretty good. I'll try to get a nice zoom shot right here. Nice macro focus in there. Now let's talk about software. I'm not going to talk a lot about the AI stuff just because I feel that's not something that's a big selling point for a lot of you out there, a reason why you buy a phone or not. And the software does work well. It's Android 14, which is a stable version of Android. It's not the newest one. Android 15 is supposed to be coming out later this month. I do like Pixel UI. I think it's a pretty good operating system for the most part. I do like that it's simplified and has a really nice good look to it. But there is these guardrails that they kind of have on here, which I understand why they do that for the target audience, but I wish they would give you that open customization that you usually get with other devices, like with Samsung and other UIs that you see out there. Because one thing, we still have that favorites bar that's still right there that's been on Android forever, and you can't really move that or expand that or change that around, and it leaves this weird gap from where you have that to where like the rest of the icons on your home screens are. You can't move the search bar, it's stuck down there, and I really hate that search bar stuck down there. Let us customize that and put that anywhere we want to. I don't like the fact that you can't just have a blank screen, so it has to have an icon, a folder, or something on it. I like to have that blank screen just in case I want to just have a good image of whatever wallpaper that I have. You also can't add folders within the app drawer menu, which instead gives you this long scrolling list instead of being able to kind of organize it into different folders right in the app drawer and be able to get the things and access them a little bit quicker. Those are some of the things that I'm kind of disappointed that you don't have that deep level of customization. And I know what you're going to say here is like, well, why don't you just get a launcher? No, and I'm going to tell you why. And it's because part of the purchase that you make with these phones is the software itself. And I don't want to necessarily take something else and buy another piece of software to put on top of it when it's really these real basic features that should be built into the operating system. It should be an easy checkbox to give us these advanced features within Pixel UI so it can satisfy the people that they're aiming for more simpler stuff. And for the people that want to be more advanced, they can be more advanced and have that more customization. At least that's what my opinion is with that. Now, as far as the performance with the Tensor 4 processor, I like it. I think it's fine for everyday use. The majority of people out there aren't going to notice anything wrong with it. I didn't notice any slowness when using my apps or messaging and kind of jumping through things. Now, as a content creator, which is a different thing, I did notice when I was sort of editing a video, having to jump back between different creative apps, that there is some slowness slightly in there in comparison to a Snapdragon processor, but I expected that to be that way. But I do think the Pixel 9 Pro XL is a good content creative device. It just depends on what type of content you're creating. But overall, I think Tensor 4 is a pretty good processor for the majority of people out there that are gonna grab this phone. Now, battery life is another one of the great upgrades that they've done here, because this feels on par with my S23 Ultra. It's really one of those devices that I can put all of my email accounts. I have several email accounts, work accounts, all on here, social media, all on the device. And it pretty much can last me throughout the day. And I can start off at 100% during the day, maybe drop down to about maybe 40% or so, and let's say I forget to charge it overnight. In terms of the standby leakage, in terms of the battery, it usually, if it's at 30% in the morning, it'll be roughly around maybe 25 to 28%, just kind of depends on what's going on. But other than that, the standby time is good enough that if I need to go do my morning walk, I still have some battery there available before I need to go ahead and do a charge. And what's nice is this does support fast charging with the 45-watt charger, which we have a video about here on the channel, so check that out. Doesn't quite go to 45-watt speed as you would expect it to, but it does go from 0 to 70%, which is what they were kind of touting, in about 30 minutes or so. It does do that in about 34 to 35 minutes. Check that video out if you want to know more about that, but I've been pretty satisfied with the battery life here. Now, I would recommend the Pixel 9 Pro XL to a lot of people out there. And in general, honestly, I recommend Pixel phones quite a bit, especially for my non-technical folks out there, or people that just want a real simple smartphone that doesn't have a lot of complications to it, won't overwhelm them, and just kind of blends into their life and works with them and helps them use their smartphone and the usage that they kind of use their phone. Pixels are pretty good about doing that. So I definitely put the Pixel 9 Pro XL in that sort of recommendation bucket for a lot of folks out there.